Immortals roster for 2024 LCS Spring Split have decided to roll the dice on Korean Academy players, and it's like they asked Team Liquid if they could copy their homework. They just forgot to actually get good Korean players. Immortals roster consists of Castle, Armao, Mask, Tactical, and Olay. This roster largely is a question mark, so let's talk about how this team might function for the 2024 Spring Split. We're going player by player, top to bottom, so let's roll. Castle joins this roster from the top lane, and he comes from the LCK Academy League from KT Rolster Challengers. His champion pool looks to mostly consist of Gnar, Ornn, and Gragas, which means that he's likely a weak side player, as Gnar is like the Orianna of top lane. Every top laner needs to know this champion, as it can go even basically against any champion. Ornn is a graceful losing tank, and Gragas is specifically used to mitigate loss from top, as he's impossible to push out the lane due to his sustain. Now, champion pool aside, Castle did used to play with Vikla on KT Rolster Challengers in 2021, who, if you remember, Vikla was a good mid laner for FlyQuest in 2023 spring, and then somehow fell off a cliff for 2023 summer. Now he's no longer in the league, and Castle also played with Mask and KT, so at least he'll already have some synergy with this mid laner. Also, we may need to consider that the KT Rolster main roster for 2023 had Keen as the top laner, so we can safely assume Castle has learned a thing or two from Keen, which has classically been a balanced top laner, good on tanks, good on carries. So there are a few better overall top laners that you could actually take a style from to get your fundamentals down. That's one of the bright spots that Castle might have going for him headed into the LCS. It'll be interesting to see how much of that gets reflected in his own play. Armao sneaks his way back into the LCS to be the jungler for Immortals. Fitting team for a guy that just won't die. Armao has been in and out of the LCS for quite a long time, since the days when Echo Fox was a team in 2016, and of course most notably his stint on TSM in 2018 summer and 2019 summer. Now, Armao is a tank jungler very known for his Sejuani, which he played a ton on TSM, so if you're expecting firepower from this player, look elsewhere. Armao has never really looked impressive whenever he's been brought into the LCS, and frankly, this is a clear budget piece, as this player has consistently stood in the purgatory between LCS and Academy. Slightly too good for Academy, yet not good enough for the LCS. I don't expect good things from him since he has largely been a supportive jungler, and so it really doesn't make much sense for him to be in this roster, given there's no one for him to support. But maybe his mid laner or top laner will randomly be good. It's really not the best bet though. Mask is holding down the mid lane as he comes from KT Rolster Challengers. Like I said before, he was teammates with Castle, so they're already gonna have synergy. He was also previously on the ERL Unicorns of Love for 2023, placing second at EU Masters Spring and then not making out of groups at EU Masters Summer. So he's already got experience with a Western team. His champion pool for 2023 had a lot of Jace, and historically he's played Azir a lot as well, along with LeBlanc and of course Orianna. Now, the bad sign is that this guy has existed in Academy for 3 years, from 2020 to 2023. If you haven't made it up to the big leagues at this point, teams have clearly realized that you aren't worth additional investment. I don't have high hopes for this mid laner, but that is with the caveat that I haven't watched any of his games, and I'm not going to act like I have, so it looks like me and Immortals are both taking shots in the dark here. Tactical is the ADC for Immortals, and if the goal for Immortals is to save money, this piece actually makes sense. He's got previous synergy with Olay, and he's honestly not a bad ADC. Now, he doesn't have quite the killer instinct that I'd like. Actually, now that I think about it, he has a little bit too much killer instinct with those Tristana Malphite ults.
They've got a victory with chasing TSM out, getting the flash from Sword Art, but he jumps into an exhaust. immediately exhausted, and PoE also had the early route.
But he's a serviceable ADC, spent time with CoreJJ on Team Liquid before, and was forgettable on Immortals for 2023. Now, what is actually interesting is that Tactical might also be able to revert back to his self-sufficient style back in 2021 by playing like he did with CoreJJ when Core would actually roam a lot. If Tactical does this, I think it might work out and be a little secret advantage for this Immortals lineup. Olay comes back to the LCS after a long break for 2023 as he went to complete military service and grind solo queue. Olay was able to get rank 1 in Korea in August and prove that he still is a beast of a player. Now, the problem with Olay is that he's never really been able to translate that solo queue success to professional play because Olay has been rank 1 multiple times throughout his career. At this point, I actually think it's a mental block that he has performing on stage, even famously benching himself when he was on Team Liquid in 2018 during MSI. Olay has always been a really good support when he can turn it on, and he's also actually a really good beatboxer, surprisingly.
I got the dopest interviews, the freshest style. So what I want you to do is go ahead and subscribe now. Homeboy, Olay, Team Liquid all day. Now you know who's the best support, NA.
Jesus fucking Christ, I look like Cannabis with a notebook. Shout out to the 2 viewers that even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But he is definitely a player that can utilize picks like Bard, Thresh, and Alistair to get picks by roaming. And since Season 14 will be top-centric, Immortals might benefit from a player like Olay. To top it all off, he's clearly going to be the leader of this team, as he'll need to be able to help Mask and Castle transition from Korea and be the translator. Olay's English is insanely good, and he understands quite a lot about the game, so I'd imagine his VOD review is also really useful as well. If this player gets over his stage fright, he could gun for the best support in the LCS. So overall, I think this lineup will probably be placed somewhere around the bottom end, 7th and possibly 6th if Mask and Castle are actually good. I do not think that this team has a great ceiling, as we've seen the ceiling of Tactical and Armao, along with several instances of Olay faltering when the pressure is on. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, as that helps me keep producing these videos. See you guys in the next one. Peace.